Hey, what's up, guys? This is a video, a thoughts on video, which I haven't done in actually a pretty good hot minute. And this one's about a game which I'm extremely late to the party with, Doki Doki Literature Club. And if you've heard of it, then congrats, you don't have to worry about anything. Or if you've played it, I guess you don't have to worry about anything. If you haven't played it, I'm going to be talking about spoilers in the game, and the game is pretty much like entirely based on whether you know things are going to happen in the game or not. And I'm just going to talk about vague things about it, but it still kind of has to do with the whole game in general. I'm not going to worry about like splitting up the video with spoilers or not. So this is mainly meant for people who may have played it, or I don't care. If you don't care, I guess you can watch it too. But this is just a little non-scripted thoughts on video, because I actually have some weird things to say about this game and interesting things about it. So I guess just because I like to explain it, if you haven't heard of Doki Doki Literature Club, it's a game that was released on Steam, and it's pretty dang decisive. It's a little game that looks like a dating sim, and it's got very dating sim looking art. It's just kind of advertises itself as a dating sim about a girls who are at a literature club and you trying to date one of them. And it nails that, at least. It very, very I'm trying to get my words together. I'm kind of like tongue-tied. If you check the Steam description of this game, you would see that there's a lot of tags like psychological horror and horror in general, and like, you know, crazy like philosophical and psychological bullshit that goes on with this game, which is true because it's not your average dating sim, I guess you could say. The game kind of does this thing where it's like, you play through the game, you're doing your normal dating sim thing, and then something happens, and that is when the game starts getting a little bit more heavy and like starts getting more intense. And the thing is, the game's pretty like good at this on multiple levels. A lot of people I see are kind of like on the fence about this. They say like, you know, I wasn't fooled at all, but like, if you weren't fooled at all, that is a community issue. This game does a really good job on not telling you any of this stuff. If you went into this game never seeing the tags, never seeing anything posted, never seeing anything about this game, you've never heard of this game before, you have no idea what to expect, then there's no reason in hell you should expect this to be a horror game. That's like opening up like an Ace Attorney game being like, well, I know this is going to be a horror game. Like, why would you know that? Like, it's not, first of all, but like, some people I heard say that, and that's ridiculous. The community is a community that has very, very much made this game, even me right now making this video, totally not even close to subtly spoiling this for the most part. Not to not let people have fun, but I went to this game knowing not exactly, but knowing a lot of things about it, knowing some plot points that were going to happen, knowing the trick, I guess you'd call it, like the jump. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what to call it. Kind of the transition between it being normal, kind of dating simmy kind of thing, to a full-fledged horror game, as I would probably want to call it. And that's kind of part of what I'm going to be talking about, but we'll get to that in a second. But really, the game does a pretty good job on, I guess, tricking you, mainly because there's like little things they do, which is really cool. Like, there's a gameplay concept in it. It's like not a lot of dating sim. I mean, a lot of dating sims. I'm sorry, I'm totally tongue-tied. I don't know why I'm doing this. A lot of dating sims have little like kind of gameplay quirks that make them different, very subtle things. And if you're not like well versed in visual novels, you might try to make a fake visual novel without that stuff. But in Doki Doki, you write poems, so you know, you learn some stuff about these girls that are in this club, and then you go home and write a poem, and then the poem you write is based on what the words you use will be dependent on who likes your poem in the club, which is like totally dating sim. That is like the most like hilarious parody of a dating sim thing I've ever seen. Like, tons of dating sims do those kind of little things like that. Maybe not a lot of old ones, but a lot of definitely newer ones have that sort of like little gameplay thing to make it slightly different than the rest. And then on top of that, you could have easily been fooled by this game and its popularity just based on its writing. It's really well written. It's like, it doesn't feel like some shitty, like, half-assed dating sim kind of thing. It feels like it's almost jokes on the tropes from normal dating sims, which is fine, but there's still no reason you would have not known this is a dating sim if you didn't see anything. Like, it's just a well-written and more like, I don't know, what was I gonna say? More respectable, I guess, visual novel in a lot of ways, where like characters' personalities are definitely more, I don't know, fleshed out. They feel more real. One example, which I guess this will transition into when the game gets a little weird, is Sayori, who's like the cliche. Oh, I guess I should describe the characters. I want a second. Sayori is your cliche, like, your friend before ever any of this kind of like dating sim stuff happens, which is a big trope in dating sims. You always have that one person that knows you pre the game, and you're usually an option to date them, and like they're like, oh, I've loved you forever, and that's their whole thing. And in a lot of ways, it's not a great personality trait, especially when this person obviously has a thing for you. All the girls do in a harem. So, like, the one that's been friends with you the longest and is, like, kept up with your bullshit the longest is the one that gets heartbroken. It is, like, beyond crazy to think how hurtful that could be. But the other two characters, Natsuki and Yuri, are mostly just the standard tsundere and yandere tropes, where it's like one character is obviously super into you and super shy and super awkward, but, you know, super crazy on the inside, and the other girl is super, you know, rough around the edges, but, oh man, really shy and awkward on the inside, or, you know, cutesy and dumb. Obviously, I said it before, they play with the tropes a little bit to make them a little bit more interesting. Even when I was I knew stuff was going to happen, but I didn't know the extent of what was going to happen. So even in the beginning, when I was just playing it normally, I was like, that this is pretty well written. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, the poems usually have to do with their personality. Usually, they're a little bit more deep than I would think they would be, which I guess makes sense because it's about a literature club. So, like, the writing is the most important part. And I think that's, like, a deep level of fooling you. Like, I don't think a lot of people talk about that. That's, like, if you had never played this game before and all you heard was it's popular, it's a good, like, mask. Like, a quality dating sim it's not just a generic date. If people were talking about it, if people were saying you should play this, I'm not going to tell you why you should play this. It's a good game, or it's this, you know. They're not saying anything specific about it, but you just know it's good. You could go into it, and if it was a generic, just normal, dumb dating sim, you wouldn't believe them. You'd think something's going to happen. But if it's just a decent dating sim, you're like, well, I guess this is just good. Like, people like this because it's decent. Like, and that was pretty cool. I visually noticed that. I knew shit was going to go down, but I still was like, yeah, this is, like, good. And then Monica is also the other character, who is the club president, who's not really dateable. She's just kind of, like, there, which is kind of weird at first. Makes a lot of sense later, but so on top of all that, you go and do your thing, you hang out with your girl, and then Sayori, you can tell, is getting a little jealous, and then you go to her house, and it turns out, oh, she's actually really depressed, and, like, they don't sugarcoat it. She's have full-on depression. It's not cute or fun. It's, like, very serious in the moment, and then you do some things, and Sayori's, like, not there, and then you go, and, oh, man, Sayori has killed herself, and she's, like, hanging in her room, and it's, like, it's so intense, and, like, you know, you see the image, and it's, like, really jarring at the moment, and then the game starts getting fucked up, because, like, Sayori suddenly, like, isn't there anymore, and it's all glitched out, and, like, suddenly Monica starts saying some, like, really, like, sketchy stuff about how, like, she knew that was gonna happen, or, you know, stuff like that. This is kind of where the horror stuff starts, obviously. And okay, so it took 9 minutes to get to this, but I want to talk about the horror aspect of this game, because if anyone knows me who's watching this, I am so bad with horror games in general. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of horror it is. It could be suspense, it could be jump scared bullshit, it could be anything. I get beyond stressed, and I didn't know the game was going to be, like, that creepy. Like, I knew it was going to be fucked and, like, weird, but I didn't think I thought it was going to be, like, kind of, like, stupid. Like, I could, like, laugh at it, which I guess you could, but I was genuinely freaked out. I was pretty invested in just, like, the generic the well-written anime bullshit that was going on. So when I was like, I knew Sayori was gonna kill herself. That's one thing I did know, and I was like, oh, I don't want this to happen. Like, what the fuck? And it did happen, and I thought the game was just gonna go on. There was gonna be some sort of maybe like addition, like there's gonna be like, what do you do now kind of thing, and like what would actually happen in that scenario. No, the game just like crashes, deletes your save, and you have to start a new game, and like it gets like all like weird and glitchy, and you're kind of just like on edge. Like that's what at least I was just like, I was just genuinely on edge after that. I was like, well, that was pretty fucked up. The music got all weird. It definitely was creepy. That now I'm on edge, and they keep throwing weird shit at you through the rest of the game, and it's fun because like obviously that's what you're there for. And it's creepy. It is, I will say, without a doubt, genuinely, I found this game to be very, very freaky, and like some of the imagery was something I did not need to see. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was not, like, if you had shown me shit that was gonna be in that game beforehand, like the imagery that you see in the game and how it's presented to you, I probably would have took a pass on the game. I am not good with that stuff. I get really freaked out easily. I'm super anxious and antsy. I get really like twitchy and like I have a hard time like continuing just because of the stress, which people love, and it sucks because I'm so biased with a game like this. This is one of the first like real, I guess, horror games I've really played. I haven't really ever touched, Resident Evil, especially the new one. I heard it's really freaky, and I don't want anything to do with that. I've never really touched Silent Hill games. I've never really touched like full-on horror games. I don't watch horror movies. I really just stay away from that genre entirely because I know it stresses me out, and like, dude, I don't need like fucking my blood pressure rising every time I watch a movie. Like, no thanks. And like at this point in my life, like people are just like, if you watch enough from me, you become desensitized. Like, why would I want to? Why would I want to go through that pain? Like, no thanks. I'll just like, it's not like mandatory to my life. I'm okay. But everyone was telling me to play this game, and everyone was saying it was freaky, but no one was saying that it was like full-on horror. I never heard those words really come out of people. People were saying like psychological horror, and like that's a really weird term because psychological horror can mean a lot of things. Like I would almost call the Zero Escape series psychological horror, and that game doesn't do anything like this. Doesn't do any kind of freaky imagery or anything like this. It's freaky, and it's like tense and stressful. So I don't know why that just spiked. Whatever. It's tense and stressful, but it's not like it's not trying to scare you. I think it's trying to like keep you invested via intense like situations and like being on the edge of your seat. I think this game was trying to scare me, and like it did a good job. There are some parts, holy moly. So basically, I'll explain this. So basically, the game gets all fucked up, and kind of find out through this whole shenanigans that Monica is definitely behind this, and she is fucking up the game, doing some weird shit, giving you really weird advice. Stuff starts happening to the characters where like, I don't know, I'll give like one example where like a character's eye starts like kind of just trailing off of her face, like the sprite gets all fucked up. One character's face goes missing at one point, and then I hate it. Oh, I don't even like thinking about it. I hate this concept so much. And when I say hate, I don't mean like it's like offensive. It's a very scary concept in my opinion. It makes this game beyond creepy. There's random chances things can happen to your game, and so there's like a 10% chance your game can like show something, or something will come up in the game that like not everyone else is going to see, which is a great concept for horror because when you're talking to your friends about it, it almost keeps you more uneasy. Of course, I just looked up all the Easter eggs, but like if you were to talk to your friends about it, it would be like, whoa, yeah, when this happens, like that didn't happen to me. It's like, oh shit, like what? It gets like, it almost like extends the creepiness beyond the game itself, which is cool. I like that. I like that in terms of horror. I don't actually like that, but if I were to critique horror, that is a good thing to put in your horror game. Yeah, and like I don't know, I like the plot that they play out too. It's actually really sweet and sort of cute. I know it's like so stupid because it's like it kind of like sort of goes full circle. But like you end up dating somebody again, and then like shit goes down and you find out Yuri's crazy and she starts like stabbing herself, and Monica ends up like taking over the game and deleting the character's files, and then like Monica is like, it's just me now, like you get to hang out with me, like, and then like it reads your PC's name instead of like the name of your character in the game. So it's like, oh, like so and so, like I actually love you, like you're the one I love and stuff. And it's like, whoa, it's like, you know, trying to like, you know, cross that like wall, like, you know, really get you invested. Which, I mean, I was at that point in the game, I was so on edge that I couldn't even like, I mean, I paid attention obviously, but I was not like invested. That's the thing with horror. I can love it, but if it's scaring me, I cannot fully pay like I can't be like glued to the screen. I am way too stressed for that. I'm like, you know, half paying attention, trying to cover the image with my hand kind of thing. Just in case something stupid happens. Yeah, it's freaky. There's some real fucked up imagery in this game. I don't really like stuff like this, like, you know, when the game fucks up, and, you know, like creepypasta antics, I'd say, like when like characters' faces get all fucked up, or like their eyes get all fucked up, or, you know, just like little things like that. Like there's all these like file things they do too, where you can like find like notes and like poems and drawings during certain scenes that like are just even thinking about it just gives me like the heebie-jeebies, dude. I don't like it. I'll be the first to admit I am not a fan of it. It freaks me out in a bad way. At least it freaks me out probably in the same way it freaks anybody out. But I'm not used to being freaked out. So like, it's not my aesthetic, not my thing at all. Which is weird because I beat it. That's the thing. Like I went through it and played it, and like it was fine. This is the only reason I'm making this video is because it's an interesting topic, because I've never really played a game like this before, where like the purpose is to freak you out, and I played it and beat it. But regardless, a lot of these games, a lot of the Silent Hill games do this too, I know. The endings are usually very stupid and creepy to be just creepy and don't end on like a good note. This game had a very sweet ending. Turns out, you know, Monica loved you. She wanted to help you as much as she could. She was selfish, and, you know, these characters in the game were just characters, but Monica, she was real. Like she was stuck in this game. And like, it's nice because she disassociates herself from the rest of the game at the end when she sings the song, because then you get like a voice. It's like, it's really nice. It's actually really nice. It feels super intimate, and it's a really interesting way to kind of like add that extra level of like attachment to a character when you like disassociate them from the game and more associate them with you as a person. Is like, it's hard to do in a game, and I think the game did it pretty well. But I respect it for that reason. Like, and there are obviously a lot of criticisms with how it's handled. A lot of people say it's a little like pretentious, it's a little bloated, it's a little like, you know, it knows how it is, it knows it's gonna freak you out and stuff, but like, that's the point. Like, it's almost like having fun with it, I feel. I don't think a game needs to be completely like the whole point of it. Like, I don't know, someone could argue that the fact that the Steam description doesn't say anything about it is like, you know, oh man, that's like totally pretentious. It's like, you know, it knows it's gonna like trick you, and it's like, well, it's trying to, and it's trying to be like, you know, that makes it that extra level of scary or freaky, I guess. Scary is a weird word. Like, scary kind of almost like refers to like a real like phobia, or like a real like, you know, scaring kind of thing. But I think the game's just freaky. Like, the game's just genuinely creepy and unsettling. And I love it. They're able to create atmospheres with just like visual effects too, which is really interesting, because a lot of games rely on the like where you are, like the scenario or whatever. And while the scenarios are weird, there could be a time where a character's just talking like normally, and all they have to do is make the text look weird, the music change, the visuals slightly altered, and it makes it so much more unsettling. Like, just makes it so freaky. And I think that's cool, because I don't think any other medium can really do that. Maybe movies could handle that, but like, because there are some movies that have handled psychological horror really well. There's an anime movie, Perfect Blue, really fucking crazy. That movie is, I don't even know if I'd call that horror. I'd call that like just psychological, psychologically messing with you. That is a crazy movie. That is another movie that really makes you attached with the character. Like, you feel very, very attached to the main character. But I mean, all in all, I did genuinely enjoy the game. Like, it's weird because I enjoy what it did, but it's not for me, and I'm completely biased on that. So I'm not like a huge good judge of like how it handles its horror, how it handles this, but as a game, it does things pretty well. Like just handles like game, like how it, I don't know. The creator seems very passionate about this kind of thing, but it seems like he was trying to do something that he knew only could work in a video game. And I love games that do that because, you know, video game as a medium gets a lot of shit. It seems to kind of, I don't know, it's better now, obviously, but for a long time it was very looked down upon from a lot of people. It's still debated to be art, which is ridiculous, but I mean, they are, like, it is very much art, and it very much is, like, you know, something, I would say it's almost extending art, because it can like do things again that you can't do in other mediums. You can't do this kind of stuff in a book and you can't do this stuff in a comic. You can't really do that. You can't do a lot of this stuff in a movie. A lot of the choices, the fact that you have choices and things are different, like you can't release a movie and the movie's different for everybody. Like, that's ridiculous. Maybe you could, but like it would be very weird and like it wouldn't really work. But with a game, it can be different for everybody, so that experience can be different for everyone who plays, and some people can see certain things, and then the community kind of comes together and does things. And this game is very community heavy. Like I said before, I criticized it a little bit ago for maybe the community giving out spoilers, but dude, the community for this game was very, very, I don't know, potent, I guess. People love it, which is cool. And I think it's a lot comes from the idea that it's genuinely new in a lot of ways. There are obviously creepypastas and creepy video games that have done similar things, and there's tons of games that have done the whole fucking with you in certain ways, but I think the fact that it's free on Steam, and its aesthetics and its art and it's like the way it presents itself, and it's a very polished kind. It's not like an RPG Maker game that's trying to freak you out, or it's a little bit more high budget, or at least like feels like it a little bit. It's a little bit better. But yeah, that's kind of it. I felt really weird making this video because I just want to kind of say that it's a weird position to be in, where like, because I drew like fan art of the game, by the way. Like I did enjoy it. I like the characters. I liked Monica a lot. I think the whole thing with Monica was really cool, and I liked the way they played it out. I liked the ending song. That was really cute. And a lot of things like that were decently well done. I just not my type of game. And another thing they did in the game was they made a whole bunch of stuff in the game files that you can mess with to find like secrets and mysteries to sequels, which is another thing that really only video games can do, which is awesome. But converting the files to like, well, actually I can't say that, music has done that before too. But when you convert like files to image files, you see like some like kind of teaser things for this other game. There's a big thing about like a big long thing talking about the next game. And I'll be completely honest, I'm probably going to pass in the second game. And I hate saying that, because if it's anything like this one, I will not like it. And it's strictly just because if it's a horror game, it's going to freak me out, and I just can't. I liked this game, but man, oh man, it was a lot out of me. I was definitely like, I was shook, I guess you could say. It was definitely like, oof. But if you enjoy like that kind of thing, if you have any interest in anything I've said, check it out. I mean, like, it's definitely interesting. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, if you don't like weird imagery and fucked up stuff like that, it freaks you out, and like it's kind of like this feeling where it's like you keep like seeing it kind of, and you're like, ugh, it just kind of gives you like the weird like kind of heebie-jeebies, I guess you could say, or just makes you like feel weird. There's a lot of it in this game. There's a lot of like weird chance kind, which I hate. Oh, I hate that. It's so freaky. I'm not gonna show any of it in this video. It's just gonna be a still image, obviously. But yeah, definitely check out the game. It's pretty cool. It's good. I genuinely do enjoy. I enjoy Doki Doki Literature Club, and I would come visit Doki Doki Literature Club again. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hopefully this is a cohesive enough video to upload. I know a lot of people like this game, and I feel like I'm a little late to the party because the game came out like months ago. I just finally got around to playing it and wanted to talk about it a little bit. But thank you for watching. I'm gonna try to do more thoughts on videos whenever I get a chance to. I'm playing like the 6th Phoenix Wright game right now, and it's been taking up a lot of my time just because I'm really slow with those games. So maybe I'll talk about that when it's all set, because I have actually a lot to say about that series too. But yeah, thank you for listening. I will talk to you all later.
Every day I imagine a future where I can be with you. In my hand is a pen that'll write a poem of me and you. The ink flows down